Chapter 5 Vice-Magus Temple, Master's Quarters. Morning time in the Vice-Magus Temple, many rooms have been reconstructed. However, even from the first floor, one can still see Master Mages patrolling the area around the temple. On the first floor, however, things look fairly normal as not much reconstruction was needed. Amalthea's room wasn't even touched in the disaster. In fact, it is so peaceful that Amalthea is still lying in almost the same position as she was 10 hours ago. Corla, however, has moved to a chest next to the chair he was sitting in. Only a child could find a wooden box comfortable enough to sleep on. The rounded top still makes this item a bad choice to sleep on, as he drifts more and more to one side. Finally, he rolls to one side and sends himself into a free fall. The boy hits the ground with a low and painful thud. This sound is followed with the noise of springs bouncing as Amalthea sits up from her bed. "Corla?" she asks as he rises to all fours, noticing a mess under him. "Are you okay?" Corla rises to his feet and turns to the ginger, revealing a few eggs, orange juice, and a sausage which splats on the carpeted floor. He casually raises one hand, and with a quick wave, the food and stains disappear from his clothes. "Yeah," the boy responds with a nervous smile and hands behind his back. I should be asking you the same thing," he says, grabbing another plate of breakfast which was sitting on a desk opposite the chest. "Here, Ahmad brought you this." The unknowing master muscles through the pain and sits with legs crossed on the bed and a big sunny smile on her face. "Aw," she pauses mid-statement, looking back at the splattered mess on the floor. "Are you sure you don't want it?" "Oh, I didn't really need to eat," Corla responds, looking back at the mess. He turns back to Amalthea and hands her the food. Wasn't really hungry." The boy steps back toward the plate. He waves his hand around the pile, using a ward to push a pile of scattered grits onto the plate. Curiously, the grits begin moving around his hand. Like a cat drawn to a laser pointer light, Corla attempts to seize the rogue porridge as it slides about the room. "Hey!" He shoots the ginger a cartoonish grumpy smirk. She quickly drops her hand, slapping her food and dumping some of it into her lap. Corla hides a giggle behind his hand as Amalthea narrows her eyes and readies to flick a piece of bread in his direction. His smile can no longer be contained. His teeth reveal as Corla sits up, extending one hand to the grits and the other to the plate of food. The room is tense with the threat of a magic-assisted food fight until Amalthea's hunger takes over and she bites a clump of hash browns out of the air. Ahmad enters the room with his focus on a small book and the coming task at hand. "How's she doing?" The master stops as Corla retracts his hands, causing his food to crash on the ground. With a smirk and the drop of a finger, he drops all of Amalthea's food back to its plate. "Stop, we need to go to Mesto today." Still munching on her food, Amalthea stands up, attempting to keep her perky attitude through a hefty amount of bodily pain. "Oh, is this like a celebration?" she responds, walking up to the master with an excited bounce in her step. "Maybe for a certain promotion?" Ahmad's expression is still hardened with concern as he closes the book. "Unfortunately, no. We have other business." Amalthea's smile briefly fades to tragic fear when she hears the word no, before changing, again, to confusion. "Look outside, child," he says as he leans against the desk and gestures to the window over her bed. Wide green eyes stare in awe at the decrepit forest surrounding the temple. "Something happened during your trials." The ginger's blood runs cold as she collapses onto the bed. That moon didn't... it couldn't be right?" With a smirk, Ahmad settles his apprentice's nerves. "No, Sage Veer said it happened after he left." Amalthea lets out a slow breath, then turns her head to the master. "So, what caused this, then?" The master holds the book he carried in up to her. "My history book?" "That's what we are going to find out," he replies as he tosses the book on her desk. It takes about an hour for Ahmad to relay all the information about the incident, and by noon Amalthea and her master are on their way out of town, since this time Corla has rejoined his master, Net. "Oh, master, wait, hold on," Amalthea says as she trots across the courtyard area to the timid boy and gives him a big hug. "Be safe, Corla." His hands slowly wrap around the ginger. The two masters look at their apprentices. With high eyebrows, Net gestures questioningly at Amalthea. Ahmad responds with an A-OK hand sign and mouths the word master to Net. He replies with a big grin through his beard and a giddy nod. Amalthea walks back toward her master, who is waving dismissively at Net and shaking his head. He rolls his eyes and points his thumb in the general direction of Mesto, then shrugs his shoulders. In the midst of all this pointless gesturing, Amalthea finds it necessary to talk. "Why are you doing that?" "To make you ask questions," Ahmad responds in a loud, projecting voice. Amalthea's surprise causes both him and Net to begin cracking up. He leans against his staff and hides his face behind his hand, letting out a much-needed laugh before turning back to his friend. Still without saying a word, the masters wave goodbye to each other and begin walking away. Out of the temple and down the road, Amalthea walks at a quick pace through the newly constructed forest. This is not the first time either of them has done this. However, the change in landscape outside the rebuilt area leaves Amalthea speechless at first. But what would cause the sky to turn red? And these sinkholes, what kind of power can cause such a thing? Ahmad walks behind her, looking at the destruction ahead. "I'm sure we will find out. I just hope we are ready when we do." A day of walking behind them, and Amalthea's fast pace has slowed. Now Ahmad leads the way. "Must we walk so fast?" Ahmad scoffs. "Weren't you complaining earlier?" He speeds up slightly. "Hey!" Amalthea cries out to her master as he chuckles to himself. "My legs are—" As she draws close to him, Ahmad disappears in a powerful gust of wind. Amalthea is knocked to the ground. She calls out, "Master!" Amalthea's voice fades as Ahmad soars high into the sky. Looking behind him, he finds he has been snatched up by a dreaded hippogriff, a winged creature with the body of a horse in the back and an eagle in the front. Ahmad bashes the hippogriff in its feathery front thigh with the bludgeoning ball at the lower end of his staff. The creature wails in pain and begins to falter his flight. "Let go!" He jabs the creature in the thigh twice more until it finally releases him. Falling through the clouds, Ahmad begins to reach terminal velocity. The hippogriff lets out a loud roar and circles around to grab him again. Ahmad charges his staff as the blackened body of the creature bursts through the clouds. With both hands, Ahmad bats the creature away in a downward swinging motion as it attempts to bite his head off. "Master!" As soon as she sees Ahmad, Amalthea begins calling to him. The creature grabs the master again and attempts to blast him with a deadly ball of burning flames. Ahmad slaps the hippogriff across the beak with his staff. Then on the backswing, he unleashes a powerful beam of concentrated dark energy. This unfortunately sends Ahmad speeding toward the ground once again. The hippogriff, relentless in its pursuits, attempts another dive. "Silsilat al-Bark!" From his staff, a bright light emits. It crackles into the heavens, engulfing the beast. In a flash, the light becomes bigger than bursts, sending flashes of electricity across the sky. The creature is no more. "Master!" Amalthea holds out her staff, attempting to stop Ahmad's fall with her magic. She is only able to slow and redirect him into a tree. Ahmad grunts and groans all the way to the ground, crashing into every branch in his path. He hits the base of the tree hard, but with no broken bones thanks to his armor and Amalthea's help. "Ahmad!" Amalthea runs full speed to his side. "Are you okay? Are you—" Ahmad slowly sits up and groans while holding his back. "Okay, that hurt. Come help me up, child." Amalthea complies, pulling his arm over her shoulder and standing up as high as she can. "It'll be dark soon. Let's make camp," Ahmad says as he limps away from the tree. The sun drops below the horizon, and the forest grows cold. She lays her bag next to Ahmad, then calls his staff to her hand. It bursts from a nearby bush and lands on the ground in front of them. Karat Naria. Amalthea holds her hands up to the head of Ahmad's staff as a flame bursts out of it. "This will keep us warm." "Ooh, it's hot." The unknowing young master backs away as she strengthens the heat. Ahmad sits down about 6 feet away from his staff and leans against a tree. "I'll be right back, master." Amalthea rushes off into the night as Ahmad removes his helmet. As he looks at it, he wonders if Amalthea would have had the same success with that hippogriff. It was only because of Sage Isabel that Amalthea was here. In this world, falling is the most common form of death from winged creatures.